Chess. A game changer. True story. Board games are a great way to both divide and bond the family, the latter being the desired outcome. We all have a story of a board game antic, an anecdote that warms our souls. I hope this is not lost in the advent of video gaming. Nothing like a tabletop game on a rainy day. We all have anecdotes about it, and here is one close to my heart. This is one of self-determination, belief, and perseverance. A little old lady, some 70 years of age, sits aside the box TV and a pile of newspapers in the early 90s. Though it was the early 1990s, the decor was like the 1950s. A refined lady, dedicated to tradition and culture. She sits watching Countdown, a classic British quiz show. At her side is a loyal little dog called Ben. Sitting on the rug is a small boy. He looks up and asks the old lady, "Nana, am I stupid?" She looks on and smiles, but has a moment of panic on her face. "No, child, you are not," she shortly replies. "Why do people laugh when I speak words?" he squawked. The boy was born with cleft ears, a syndrome that affects a lot of children and can lead to developmental issues if not treated with surgery. The sweet old lady turns to him and says, "Your speech therapist says you are doing fine. You only need a few more sessions. Most children need many more." A tear drops down his cheek and the dog scuttles to his side and drops in his lap. "Thanks, Ben," he says. The old lady stands up and says, "Follow me, child." They walk into the kitchen and she says, "Open the cabinet." An old chess set rests in the center of a Monopoly board and a backgammon board. She says, "Lift out the board." He wipes away the dust. It's not an elaborate board, it's an average, humble chessboard. She turns to him and bends her old knees and pats him on the head. "Okay, so tuna sandwich, then we learn chess." "I can't do it," he cries. I said, "Learn, boy, not play. Everybody has to learn something when they first start, my young child." He wipes away his tears and munches the sandwiches and Space Invader crisps, drinks down his root beer and wipes away the nervous sweat from his brow, and carries the chess set into the living room, the dog eagerly barking at his side in excitement. The old lady places drafts pieces on the board and he looks up confused. "I knew it! You think I'm stupid! We are not playing chess!" "We are warming up, boy," she replies. He then plays drafts and naturally loses to the drafts wizard that was his nana. 3 hours later, he has mastered the moves of chess. His nana calls round the neighbours to watch him play and give him support. A 104-year-old lady strokes his hair and says, "Boy, you have talent." He looks on at the group of cuddly old ladies with a smile and a slight tear of joy. Some weeks go by. He only went to his nana's house twice a week, so he got practice with his neighbour, another sweet lady, who gave him his first chessboard. His pronunciation improved in this time, but not much. He was still due his second surgery on his ears. he went to his nana's once more on what became a special day for them both and the dog. They sat in the living room and the old lady decreed, "Today, boy, we go to the chess club at the library. There is a huge chess set you can play with." He smiled, and his cheeks plumped like plums on a spring tree. He replied, "Thanks, Nana." They wandered into the town with the dog. It was an hour's walk. He was tired and got some juicy Ribena blackberry juice. Then on to the library they went. There, outside, were men gambling on the games. The old lady hobbled over, demanded that the boy could play. They laughed. A man with a menacing beard skulked over and said, "What, your grandson? The simpleton?" She sneered and the dog growled. "Ha! Such a tiny dog," he laughed. The other man said, "Look, this game we have, $200 on this game. If I lose, then the board is open for the next. It's a winner stays on situation." The other man, who was reigning champion, yelled, "Hell, if he wins, I'll give you all your money back." The other men looked round at the boy and then the reigning champion and then the boy again. The boy wet himself just a little bit, but not enough for anyone to notice. Some time passed and the reigning champion won against his challenger and collected the 200. It was the boy's turn. A bishop, heavy strategy ensued, and the boy began to win. He moved the pieces with the aid of the dog. The old lady refused to help him to save dignity for the boy. When the man realized he was losing, he began to panic. For many years he had reigned on the chessboard in the library square. Crowds were around watching. When suddenly the man noticed he was moving in to make checkmate. Having $500 in his pocket, he lost all sense of thought and struck the tiny boy on the head with a giant piece. The crowd screamed, and the tiny dog lunged at him and dragged his leg so he couldn't strike again. Luckily for everyone, the police had come to watch the game too. 2 officers lunged at him and dragged him back and said, "You are under arrest for the assault of a minor." The crowd jeered, "The money too, you cretin!" He refused, and the police said, "We will not be pleased at all if you do not honour your word." He threw the cash onto the giant chessboard, and the boy clambered to his feet and yelled, "We won!" He said, "We screeched." The man who was helping him. The boy replied, "I meant everyone gets their money back." "You're not going to keep it then?" he replied. "No, gambling is not healthy," said the boy. "I'm sorry for hitting you," said the man. The crowd clapped. Suddenly a man began sobbing. "I was gambling with my daughter's birthday party money, and now we can still have the party. Thank you, boy," he sobbed. He smiled and said, "Buy a nice cake, mister." And the old lady took him up the road, got him some fish and chips and some juice, and chuckled, "Not so stupid after all, eh?" The end.